Hey, and welcome to this episode of the Spiritual Awakening annual YouTube Summit. I am your host, Iona Mead, at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. So, welcome to this annual summit. We are live. We are streaming on my YouTube channel. We're streaming all out on the socials. We're streaming out in the Facebook group. I want to say thank you for joining us. I can see that somebody's on. So I have a very special guest, Casey. Casey, you're going to have to say your surname. And what I want to say before we dive into everything, it is like 2 a.m. in the morning for Casey. So can we give us some love in the comments? Because I'm in the UK, it's 9 a.m. for me. But just that love for you, just because you're showing up at this time. So Casey, please introduce yourself.
I am Casey Cisneros from Casey's Spiritual Corner, and we come together to support each other with our growth and learning and awakening.
Yeah, it's big. Thank you so much for coming to this episode. For those of you who are new, the way that this spiritual annual YouTube summit works, we go live on the what I call two middle binge watch Wednesdays of the month at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. UK time. So I have 3 guests in a day, so you can binge watch. So Casey is the first in our lineup for today, and we run October through to April. Part of this spiritual awakening annual YouTube summit was to share our gifts and to have a conversation about awakening, because I don't think there's enough, and I definitely know that there's not enough live, but coming together as a collective to raise the vibration of our planet, and also providing a space where it's not weird. Providing a space in a community, especially if you're new on the path, even if you're seasoned. We go through multiple spiritual awakenings. So we have a Facebook group for attendees. So if you click on the link down below and in the show notes, you'll see that. We also have what I call the Spiritual Ascension after show parties. So after all of the episodes are done on the 2 middle binge watch Wednesdays of the month, on the third Thursday, we have a Spiritual Ascension after show where you can share, can come together as a community and share. So that's for upgraders. Also, each of my guests are giving their gifts that we'll talk about today to what I call the Spiritual Alchemy giveaway, because once you've been through your spiritual awakening, it's for a reason, right? And so we want to support you in honing your own gifts in your own path, and you're finding your own truth, as Casey is here to talk about. Casey, before we dive into your spiritual awakening story, which is like over 40 years that you've been on this path. So I've got like my notepad. So if you haven't got a journal, I think you should get one, because I haven't been on the path for that long. But before we do that, I just wanted to share about our connection, because I want to bring guests in that I'm connected to and I resonate. And so I've seen Casey on Casey's Spiritual Corner on YouTube. You have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
And so the connection was between Robin and I. Robin is a student of mine, and then a soul-guided instructor of mine. And when I came onto your channel, I watched Robin be interviewed by you. Your community is just so loving and just there. How long are you on your live streams on your channel for?
Oh, girl, anywhere from 2 hours to 8 hours.
Literally, if you have not been on that, it's such a beautiful experience, because there's so much love, and you just drop whatever knowledge comes as a collective, whatever comes through. This is my experience. I haven't shared this with you, but your community are just there. And one of the things I wanted to do was bring on guests who are willing to really serve. And I've never seen anything like it, from 2 hours to 8 hours on a live stream. And I'm doing this summit like, okay, well, it's an hour at 9, it's an hour at 3, and an hour at 9 p.m. And people are like, why? But the energy is just really, really beautiful. So thank you again. So let's dive into your spiritual awakening story. I've got some notes, and you'll see Casey's bio in the link, in the description and the show notes. But just share with us where you believe that your first spiritual awakening and the story began.
I think that as a child, I seen and heard a lot of things, but my mother was raised in Unity Church, and she used to throw a lot of things at me out of Unity Church that were very positive and loving in the church, but she would use them against me to control me. So I think that I shut down a lot of things. And I remember as a child laying in bed thinking, I'm here to do something special. But we're taught that you can't feel that. That's blasphemy. You know, that's
Wow.
vanity, but we are all here to learn something, to experience, to share, to grow, and I've talked to a lot of people lately that experienced that as a child, too. uh,
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the younger people are experiencing that a lot more, but it was just the knowing, and because of my circumstances, my parents were not the best, and both my husbands were not the best. But it was like the more I was isolated, the more alone I was, the more I went inside, knowing that I was never alone.
Wow.
There's just that knowing that you were not alone,
Wow.
and it just and then
Oh.
the circumstances and stuff that came up, it's like I never could have did it if gone through it if I hadn't known that I wasn't alone.
I love that, Casey. And as you said that, I got full body goosebumps because, yeah, I felt like that. And I don't know if I had the actual thought of, I know that I'm here and I know that, there's something for me that I'm special and I'm not alone. But when I was a child, I was on this path and I would have conversations. I had a conversation, I talk about this on my masterclass, where I was with my friend's grandmother, and my friend had told me that her grandmother's drinking and different things were not helpful for her on that path. It was painful for her. So I sat on the doorstep while everybody else was playing out, all of my friends, and I had this conversation with my friend's grandmother about the path, the vision that she could take, the crossroads. And I'm still doing that today. So what I wanted to do was just normalize and highlight that actually you do get those awakenings when you are a child. So you said that you met someone who is your husband, so your life partner, who'd been through similar circumstances with the parents that are not the best. Because when somebody doesn't understand that and they've had the best, it wouldn't necessarily be then that growth journey, right, together in the same way that whatever you've had. So you say that so people come through awakening at so many different areas and different points, and that's one of the things that I wanted to highlight. So you say about religion, and so the beautiful and the positive, but then turning that around in probably the way that it's not meant to be used, or it's not the purpose of it. So religion, is there any other areas that, and you say parenting, so relationships. So one of the things that I've noticed is that so many points that we come through the awakening, and this journey is for me, my path is to support the collective in raising their vibration and living more intentionally. So I say living an intentional life at the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. And the Cheers acronym stands for contribution, health, emotions, environment, relationships, spirituality, and financial freedom. And I know that those are points of awakening that we are here to turn around. So you've mentioned the religion, and you've mentioned relationships. Is there any other areas that really stand out, whether you were a child or as you've grown up, that were poignant moments on your path that just changed the trajectory?
Health problems.
Right.
uh,
Okay.
from the time I was little, I had chronic ear infections and chronic bronchitis and just sick all the time. You found out when I was 50 that I had celiac, and I've had all these major health problems all these years. And it kind of hit me hard a couple weeks ago because I ran across a quote. It says, "People do not fake illness; they fake
Right.
wellness." And it
They
made me
they fake. Say that again, please. People do not fake illness. They fake
wellness.
wellness. Wow, what does that mean?
Okay, how many of us are struggling to get past our obstacles? It's not just illnesses, but how many of us are struggling through all the challenges, health problems, mental health things, the
Hmm.
abuse that we're going through, and everything, and we're faking happiness, wellness, you know?
Ooh, that is big. That is big. Thank you for that.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
I just sat and cried and cried and cried. It's like I've been doing that all my life, you know,
Wow.
thinking I'm
Thank
okay.
you. Yeah.
And
And it's,
women especially, you know, not
yeah.
just women, everybody does it, but women especially because they're the caretakers, you know.
Yeah.
We're programmed that we have to take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves. And that's a
That's
problem,
big.
okay?
Yeah. And that's
Most of
when
our
you are awakened because you're not following that anymore. And that's that shift in consciousness. It's the awakening is that shift in consciousness, as in there's something that is off because it's not working, and it's not for the greatest good.
that's what
I love that.
I look at religion as somebody else's point of view.
Yes.
Spirituality is finding your own truth, your own spirituality, you know.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to question everything, even
Yes.
when I tell you, you know,
Yes.
find your own
Yeah.
truth. And
Yeah.
lots of tools in order to help you do that. The thing is you need to learn to trust yourself, you know.
It's that trust. You mentioned knowing, so we know like the clairs and different ways that people have that source, that connection. And for me, it's that knowing. And if you're watching live, I can see a couple of people are on live. If you are commenting, I can't see any comments, but if you're commenting in the Facebook group, you're commenting on the YouTube channel or wherever I'm streaming this out, then thank you. Add your um, energy to the conversation because it just really lights up. If you've got any questions for Casey, then we'd love to hear them. I can see that the numbers are going up, but I can't see any comments. I am on my mobile phone, and I think that I should be able to see them. So I'm not ignoring you. I will, if you have any questions, then we will come back to the replay as well. I just want to say that, just acknowledge that.
We
So
see
you said finding your own. Yeah, have a look. I can't see any. So finding your own truth. That's kind of the thread of what your message is, what you wanted to bring to the summit. And you said about that fake being the flip side of what it is that we expect to see. It's like, well, especially on social media, right? And so when we look at the social media streams, especially when you're going for awakening and you feel lonely, as you mentioned,
yes.
everybody's doing amazing. Everybody, we know that we've had this big shift over the last few years since 2020. Everybody's doing, and I think that pause helped us to see actually the mental health and well-being of our nation is probably not in the shape that we thought it would be. And so you said that the health problems and the chronic health and the what did that look like as you were growing up, and what tools did you use were they external tools? What tools did you use to overcome those? Because I know that many people try a lot of different things and they don't seem to work. What was the thing that worked for you?
Well, I started out with uh, um, a group of 40 of us, and we went to a meditation class for, there was a radio psychic, and she was doing classes and stuff. And I had miraculous experiences there and just tapped into things right away. I remember the first time I fell into meditation, I was in a spiral, and it didn't have any significance at that time, but the Native Americans and the indigenous people talk about the sacred spiral. I
Hmm.
connected to that the first time I ever meditated, but had no knowledge of that till later. So the
Right.
universe was open and ready, and I was open and ready because I didn't know any different, you know.
Yeah.
And so from there, it was just a series of things. I ran into a gal at work that did nutrition. She got me started on vitamins. I walked into Vitamin Cottage one time and picked up a little book called The Way of Herbs and learned about herbs and shifted a lot of medical things. Uh,
Wow. Just by taking the herbs?
yeah,
By taking the herbs and the vitamin? Wow.
shifted a lot of things. It stopped a lot of the cycles that were were building on themselves.
Right. Just attaching different things, like one health problem, another health problem, just stacking. So it helped to reverse some of those, to release some of those.
Stopping the cycle because some things feed upon each other, like candida,
Mm-hmm.
and that causes major health
Yeah.
problems. Cleared up a
Yeah.
lot of that. I
Mm-hmm.
went to I went to a psychic fair, and the palm reader looked at my hand and she goes, "Oh, you've got candida." I said, "What's that?" She explained to me. "Well, if you've taken a lot of antibiotics," and I said, "Yeah," and she goes, "Well, that's saying you've got too much yeast in your system." So I got a
Mm-hmm.
book on that, set me off on a whole nother path. But it's like
It's
the
big.
universe putting all these things in my path for me to
Yeah.
learn. And then I
Wow.
met my friend Mai, and we went to therapeutic touch and Reiki and all these things. And um, it was interesting because you this is one of the things that we do when we have health problems.
Mm-hmm.
You take all these classes and you think, "Ooh, I'm going to start a business and help
Yeah.
other people with their health problems."
Yeah.
Boom, brick wall
Yeah.
every time. The universe has done nothing but encourage me
Mm-hmm.
to stay within, to
Right.
work me in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Every time I try to reach out to help anybody else, I'd run into that block. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this lifetime, you need to actually work on yourself this time, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
But now, older
Yeah.
and more settled and have more knowledge and stuff, now
Right.
all those tools are all coming together, and I'm able to, because you heal yourself. Nobody else
Yes.
heals you. You
That's
heal
right.
yourself. All I can do is be
Yeah.
a facilitator. I can give you the tools. You are
Yeah.
my hero if you use the tools to heal yourself.
I love that. I think that I want to come back to the meditation and spiral in just a second because I've not heard that. So keep that keep that because I want to touch on that next. But when you said that, you're going through this, and this is one of the things that I wanted to bring the message for the summit is when the stages of time, what stage that you are in and phase that you're in your life and those awakenings, because we want to go out there and I've learned this, oh my gosh, like it's like this light bulb on your head and you think, oh my gosh, you're not awake yet, this is the thing, and everybody has their own journey and their own. Yes, you can be that messenger and that vehicle to assist and, like you say, facilitate, but that person might not be ready on their part. They need to have whatever experience that is for their awakening to trigger. It's not that we can't help anyone, but I think that we want to kind of just go out there and help everyone and just, spread that message. And then we get shut down, not only from the people, but from ourselves and higher, like you say, because it's not time necessarily to go out and do that. It is, we're not done yet. We're not baked. So we go on that journey. And so for me, how I like to visualize it, so we're going through that awakening, and we go through multiple awakenings. I'm not saying that it's a one-time thing, but if just to compartmentalize the understanding of your awakening, and within that awakening, you use those spiritual alchemy, spiritual ascension tools, natural tools, going within and knowing that we're souls having a human experience. Whatever the tools are, they're different for everyone, and sometimes they're the same. Like you said, you use the herbal and vitamins and different things, and then and with somebody's assistance to educate you on, as you trialed, and Reiki energy and stuff, alternative medicine. And then once that settling is within you, then that alchemy process happens, as I like to see it, is turning those wounds into wisdom, and then we can package up our knowledge and assist other people. But it is just our knowledge. It's not we are the rescuer, we are the person. I can help, I can heal you, It's not that, and that's not the truth. And I think it's not intentional that we might think that, but because we're so eager on this awakening path, we want to spread that light. But I feel like there are stages and
They have,
phases that we need to hold space for before we just go out there.
yes. So that's one of the hardest things there is to learn as a healer, a facilitator, is not everybody's ready. And
For
it's so
real.
frustrating to try to share this knowledge with people and they're just not ready. They're not open and receptive. You believe
Mm,
doctors know everything or
yes.
it's too weird or whatever. So
Yeah.
what you can do is just plant a seed. Sometimes all
Yeah.
you have to do is say it once and step back. And
Hmm.
if there's enough fertile soil in there, it'll start growing. May not start growing for years, you know,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
it's but you have planted that seed.
Yeah, I love that because when I was going on my awakening, I don't know for you, and this is kind of what I want to see. Like, where do we get that knowledge from? Where do we seek? Where do we go? And so for me, I went onto YouTube and I could see people sharing their spiritual awakening story, and I don't know where I got. I don't know whether it's through articles. I don't know where I got the actual word, the spiritual awakening. I don't know how we necessarily come across it, but there's just something. It's like there's something more. And so one of the sources was YouTube, and so this is why I was like, do you know what? When people are searching, because they're actively searching, you run a YouTube channel, people are searching in key, they call them key search terms in the YouTube in the algorithm and on Google and even on Amazon, because I have a co-author book series, and they're searching for this stuff now. They're searching for spiritual awakening through health, spiritual awakening through relationships, spiritual help. And those are the people that I want this summit to reach because they're ready to
Started.
hear how other people have packaged up their knowledge and can assist them. I think that it is best to, like, when you've sowed that seed, not have any expectations around it. Just it
Mhm.
might just come back and you have some, oh, well, that was, we do it, we say, well, there's a lot of resistance, I think, to a different truth and finding our own truth rather than, like you said, through childhood,
Yeah.
having the people that caregivers educate us on truths that don't actually feel true internally. So you talked about the meditation, the spiral. Was it the spiral? Can you share a little bit more about that? Because I don't know. And I have such resistance to actively sitting down or passively sitting down and meditating to quiet my mind. I find a meditative state in different ways in nature, walking, in my work. I find it in different ways. I'm not someone who just sits, like you said, you were open. So can you share a little bit more about that, please?
A lot of the indigenous cultures around the world talk about the sacred spiral,
Mhm.
you know, and it just everything revolves in this spiral. It's just connects you to the universe, it and I don't know how to explain it, but it's
I
just,
will look it up.
yeah,
I will look
look
it
up.
up, and if anyone knows more, then please share, like, a sacred spiral. And you're in meditation, and you're just open, and are you receiving like downloads, or you're just quieting your own
i
humanness?
was I was just sliding along the spiral.
So it feels like an energetic
Yeah, yeah,
swirl, like a swirl,
it's like
like
a
a
vortex. Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
vortex.
I had a visual when you said that, and if any of you have experienced that, I've never heard of it, and the sacred spiral, but I have written it down for notes. So for your journey, you talk about finding your truth, and you say that some of the tools that you use. One of the tools that you had mentioned in your bio is using tarot. Can you talk about a little bit about that? How you came along that path? Because I've seen a lot of people use that. For oracle cards, for me, there's only one deck that I'm familiar with. So, for those who have tarot has come into their life, it's presented themselves, because I think that we just get the tools that we need that absolutely make sense to us. Can you share a little bit about how that journey has been for you?
Well, I started out with tarot, and then people scared me, and I quit doing it for a long time. But it kept calling me and calling me. So
Wow.
doing tarot for families and parties, and
Hmm.
family parties and stuff, and was always
Yeah,
pretty accurate. Then I just decided, girl, I have been an introvert all my life. For
same.
me to on Facebook and start doing tarot readings
Big
was
deal.
big deal, and it was helping people. But then people were coming to me and
Hmm.
asking me for help because they were going through spiritual growth, and nobody
Hmm.
was teaching basics. No,
Yes,
the
yes.
that's so important. They come in, they don't know how to ground, they don't know how to protect, they don't know how to determine whether it's their energy, somebody else's energy. They don't know how to clear the energy. They don't know how to seal and heal what the energy they've released. Those are huge basics, you know.
Yes, I hear that. I
Yeah,
hear that.
and I would on when I got on YouTube, I would do readings, and with the tarot, a lot of personal experiences would come out, and I would give advice and stuff too. And people would say, "Oh, can we ask questions when you get done doing the readings?" I said, "Sure, we can do some spiritual talk afterward." That was
Yeah.
the birth of spiritual talk on Friday nights. And me
Wow.
being an introvert, I had put an intention out. Okay, remember, your intentions are so important. I put an
Yes.
intention out for only the people that are willing to learn, to willing to use the tools to come in. Because if it was
Yes.
blown up and had 50,000 people on it, I would have freaked. I would have.
Wow. Y-
It's small. People come in. We talk personally.
mhm.
It's not like, you know we support each other. But
Yeah.
people come in, ask questions. They seem to find out what they need at the time, and
Mhm.
then they just move on. Some stick
Yeah.
around, some move on. It's
Yeah.
it's we're here to support each other. How do you change the world? One person at a
One
time.
at a time. Thank you. Can I get an amen? So, with that
Yeah,
said, lovely, beautiful segue. So, Tina Rose, thank you for joining us. So, I've just pulled up your comment. You're on Facebook. I don't know if you're in the attendees group or you're somewhere around connected to me, but thank you for coming on with us. So, you said I need reading right now. So, this we're not going to give readings, and we want that energy to be clean. So what we're doing is I'm doing an interview, and so the reply comes after speaking with Casey, and I love that. What you do on your YouTube channel, and for those who resonate, like you said, you put out the intention to only have those people come to you who are ready. So if you are ready and you want to subscribe to Casey's YouTube channel, that's where Casey does that there. We're not going to do that here. What we
right.
want to do is talk about the like you said, the basics and the foundations and the purpose of the reading, because people do raise their hand and think that I need this right now, and the guidance that is there is just I believe this is what I'm getting right now, is to slow that down, because it's in here, the answers are within, and it's listening, and that guidance and that source and that connection is there to provide that. But I think that sometimes without the basics and without knowing the energy and things, people then get lost and go down a rabbit hole of expecting this to be the holy grail and savior
I
for
know.
life, right? And so it doesn't, you know?
Ask questions. Ask the universe questions all the time and follow the energy.
Yeah,
Because when you pray for something specific, prayer
yeah,
is wonderful. But when you pray for something specific, this is
yeah,
what you're asking for.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
And there's so many other possibilities out here that the
Yes.
universe can provide for you, but
Yeah.
you're limiting the universe to this.
Yes.
So
This is something
say
bigger.
this or something better, or you
Better.
can ask questions. What else is possible here? What can be better than this?
Yeah.
Just ask questions, but be open minded about everything, because the
Yeah.
universe knows exactly what we need, can give us something better, but are we allowing? That's an important word. Are we
Yes.
allowing the universe to give to us? If you are not open to receiving, if you are not open to allowing, how can the universe give to you?
You shut it down. And so when you're going through that spiritual awakening, maybe through that dark night of the soul, and we are seeking those answers. And I think timing is everything, that divine timing. And like you said,
Yeah.
that healing. And so was the tarot further along in your journey or quite early on?
I did that for probably
Because
30 years.
you
But,
said that it came to you and people were scaring you. And then it just kept calling you.
yeah,
So sometimes when you pick it up, it might
yeah,
not
then
be the,
I was just doing it for family and stuff. And then, like I
yeah.
said, when I started doing it on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
people were responding and stuff. And then I said, well, maybe I need, somebody said, well, try YouTube. And
Yes,
so
it's
YouTube, and that's,
big.
yeah,
And that's the thing when you're going through that spiritual journey and that spiritual growth, we do, people find it on YouTube. So that's why I was like, where's the space that people are really searching? Where was I searching for that knowledge? And I really want to be open in the sense of meeting people where they are and holding space for whatever that journey looks like. I don't know if there's enough people just holding space, not trying to fix everything, but just say, these are some of the tools, you experiment, you try, and you try it on, and then you take it off. It might not be the tool for you, but there are people who have been on the journey that can give a little bit of insight or just um, a comment or just like you said, just a seed. And that's because it's the connections through conversations that I love that
is,
we can get just that message. So you talk about, go on, sorry. Go for it.
uh, gratitude is so important. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in the tarot we have the Nine of Cups. The
Okay.
Nine of Cups is the wish card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, what are you dwelling on? What is on your mind? If you are worrying about something constantly, if
Mm-hmm.
you are, if you are focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want, these are all the
Big,
things that you're wishing for.
big.
Whatever you're dwelling on, like I said, if you're worrying about something, you're going to draw more things to worry about. That's putting
Mm-hmm.
your wish out there.
It's still an order, right? And so Jason is on. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Casey, if you have any questions for Casey, if you just resonate with anything, then you can leave comments. I love that you say that. And so again, that's that vibration. So for me, with the acronym, the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency,
Yes.
today is the E for emotional freedom. So emotional freedom, Wednesday, it's having your thoughts and your feelings, you're moving up that emotional scale when you're putting that order out there and you're putting it at that low vibration. And I laugh because we've all been there, and it can be a journey to learning, right? And
Yes.
so that's the order, that's that cosmic order. And then you wonder why chaos. But if you don't know what you don't know, and that's what we're here to share, is actually when we're worrying is not necessarily, I don't know what's going on. I might have to plug my phone in. But yeah, we might not necessarily know um, at what point, and having that guidance and having someone like you, it's just amazing. Thank you. So Jason says Casey was there for me through my journey. Oh, that's amazing.
But
That's really, really awesome.
you're willing to do the work.
Right, right.
Good.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And when you are willing, like you said, you provided a space where you were like, when you're ready, then I'm here, because we don't want our own energy as healers, as light workers, to be scattered. And so it's just that trusting that, if there is that service that somebody would need, then we are there for them. Jason said it's a lot of work. Just so
It
you
is.
know,
We are,
just so
you
you
know,
know what.
when we run out of things to work on, we have no reason to be here anymore. You know,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
less all things. I want to put this out there though, okay?
Go on. Yeah.
We are made in the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the gifts, talents, and abilities. What are
Mm-hmm.
we allowing ourselves to have?
Right. Right.
You know,
And you
I have
said that allowing.
I recently found out that I could do mediumship, I can do remote viewing, I do a bunch of other
Wow.
things that I was never given the opportunity to try to experience and stuff before, and it just blows my mind. But this is something to play with. Ask the universe to be in a walking state of meditation and see
There
if
you go.
things shift.
Yeah. I love
You,
that. I love
your
that.
seems to come through a little more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you get information as you're just doing your thing.
Being about being out. That's what I've never
Yeah,
heard, that connection, that description. That's how I feel all of the time. And I'm just like, well, I don't feel like I need to sit to be in that state. I'm in
exactly.
that state. I just feel that flow. And I would imagine that that's the purpose of it. But I'm like, I call it that soul flow. Either you're in soul funk or you're in soul flow in my world. And so I just feel that. And that's my job every single day, just to listen and to be guided and to um, hear that and connect those own dots, and like you said, find your own truth. So
Yeah,
thank you, Jason, for saying that, because sometimes I believe that we portray that it's fairies, unicorns and rainbows. And it can be, when you've gone through certain awakenings, you kind of can step back and see a little bit more clearly. But the work is the work, and the work is the inner work. And like you said, we're here to be on that path to do that. Hey, how you doing, GJ? Thank you for joining us live for this spiritual awakening. And Casey's just bringing the gold and the nuggets. And I really appreciate that, because it's the perspective. And I think sometimes when we hear it from someone else, or we hear it again, it's like, oh, that was the thing. Oh, yeah, I dropped off from doing that thing. So one of the things that you say in your you bring the energy is to find your own truth, and that the universe is friendly and waiting for us to co-create and dance with the universe, right? So when we're going
yeah,
for a spiritual awakening, it doesn't always feel like that. Hang on. It doesn't always feel like that. It is friendly necessarily. It's like, why is this happening to me rather than for me? Can you speak to that? And then we'll talk about the spiritual
okay.
alchemy giveaway.
That has been that. This has been a main theme, I'd say, for the last month. A lot of people are angry and say the universe needs to open up this opportunity for me.
For me.
The universe is neutral. The
Yeah.
universe is neutral. There's no
Yeah.
good or bad. It's all
Mhm.
experience. It's all knowledge. It's all learning. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, what are we allowing the universe to help us with? We
Mhm.
are run by programs, okay,
Mhm.
uh, for
We are.
around money, okay. There's a program, it's better to give than it is to receive. Money is the root of all evil. Money
Big.
does, um, you have to work hard for your money. Those are
Yes.
all programs that we are programmed with that we can clear away, you
Truth.
know, and programs, especially for women, I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to figure it out. That keeps us stuck in what
In
they
the
call,
and
where you're going through the same thing over and over and over again
patterns.
because you're stuck in that pattern, you know. I
Mhm.
try to teach you ways to clear out those patterns so you can clear out what everybody else's truth, because you've got your mom and dad's, your teacher, your culture, your nation, your world
Yeah.
views. You've got
Yeah.
all these points of view and belief systems and programs,
Yeah.
and I try to teach you ways to clear all that. There's common
It's lovely.
patterns,
Hmm.
but then you can start finding your own truth.
Yeah, and then when you're coming from that own truth, you experience life differently. So Jason
Mhm.
said this live is the perfect time of day for me. I'm out walking next to beautiful lake. Oh, I want to be there, taking in the beautiful sunset with gratitude. Thank you so much for
He's
just
in
being
us.
out in nature in Australia. I
Yeah.
love that. So, it's early hours for you and it's kind of early morning for me. And I love that we can bring this message and we can share that. It's just beautiful. So we have a spiritual ascension after show party to celebrate, the journey that, we are on, and acknowledge the spiritual growth path, because sometimes I don't think that we give ourselves enough credit for just being here, because when we go for a spiritual awakening it isn't always easy, and there's many times where we're like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this, but I really want to support the collective in just being, just where you are is just where you are and is just where you need to be. So Casey, I've talked about, and I've invited each of my guests to give a gift to what I call the spiritual alchemy giveaway, so we can support someone on their spiritual ascension. And I know that you are very gifted and very talented, and nothing had really come to mind to stand out. So now being in this space, is there something that you're like, yeah, absolutely, it would be this thing? And so it's just after 7 p.m. Wow. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Is there something that you're like, yeah, this is the thing?
I think maybe answering some specific questions, maybe three specific questions
Okay.
for each person that wants one.
Mm-hmm. What would that be?
Because
So to give the gift to the giveaway, would you do like a little PDF or a little what have you with the three questions that you suggest? Is that what you're saying?
no, they
Or
can answer.
asking questions now?
Yeah, and
So,
if I know the answers, then I can either help them with tools or
mhm,
answer the question, or help them with
okay.
whatever they try
So
to give
what tool?
them.
Okay, so what tool would be a tool that you would share the use of? So would it be the tarot and the basics, like the teachings around those foundational
Well, I was thinking,
pieces?
talking about the grounding
Yeah.
and protection, and
Mm-hmm.
teach some tools to clear the programs,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, just because a lot of times affirmations don't work because you have things stuck in the
So
subconscious mind, and
I
and
was
I
talking
have
about that yesterday.
several tools that can help
Mm-hmm.
you clear out those programs, like I said, to
Mm-hmm.
find your own, because
Love
the
it.
mind is like a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a recycle bin. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
people go through things like clearing, like the layers of an onion, is
Yeah.
because you think you've cleared it, but it's stuck in the recycle bin.
Yes.
Okay, or
Then it's gonna
have
come
it.
back up.
Yeah, and the universe does not like a void. If you've cleared something, you need to fill it with the golden light of the Holy Spirit to seal it and feel it, so something else doesn't come in that's similar to it.
Yeah.
It's going to teach you
That's
a lesson also.
that's a really good point. Thank you. Do you have like a PDF or a video or a resource to support us with that? Or you can create one. Okay, so it's fine. Casey and I will have conversation and we'll put that in the vault for you. So
I, I,
if anyone has any questions before we do wrap up, I want to respect your time. So Jason, if DJ is still here as well, anyone else. And if you have any questions for Casey or you resonate, then do leave any comments down below. I really, really do appreciate it. Um,
I'm
so while we
I'm
wait and see, go on,
I'm kind
go
of
on.
a spur moment type thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I plan something,
Yeah.
most of the time it doesn't work out,
Okay.
but when I just do it on the spur of the moment, like the last few weeks especially,
Mm-hmm.
something has popped up,
Right.
and it turned out to be something somebody needed, and it's something that I learned a long time ago, and
Wow.
just it, it
What I'll do is I'll search for like one of your videos where you're talking about this stuff, and we'll pop that in, and then they can connect with you on the Casey Spiritual Corner, because I know that it's such a valuable
well,
resource to go to.
I do have like I have a video on in my playlist under classes on the bubble technique.
Right. I
That
think I heard you talk about that. Can you explain a
Yeah.
little bit?
Okay, so this is one of the ways. This is a good way to clear a
Hmm.
lot of things. Okay, if
Okay.
you bring your hands together, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
until you feel a bubble
Hmm.
or heat or something. Okay, so
Hmm.
say you're worried about something, you're
Hmm.
going to get into that bubble and you're going to bring your hands back and forth
Hmm.
until the energy clears. Okay. Now, the first time I ever did this,
Hmm.
it receded into the background and something else moved in. I said,
Wow.
okay, I guess my body wants to clear that. So I cleared that. That receded. Something else moved in. And I said, wait a minute. I looked over to the
Wow.
right hand side. There was a whole list of stuff that was waiting to be cleared. My body was waiting to release all this stuff. And then it got to a point,
Wow.
listen to your body. Your body will ask it questions and your
Yeah.
body will respond. You just need to
Yeah.
listen. So I had
Wow.
all this stuff lined up, and all of a sudden it said, okay, no more today. That's all
Yeah.
my body could handle at that point in time.
Thank you. So that's that. I knew it would come. So that's the gift that we'll give in the spiritual alchemy giveaway, the clearing, right? So Jason said bubble technique. DJ says the bubble technique is awesome, Casey. Love that. I hadn't tried it, so I will do that. I'll watch that class as well.
Okay.
Jason says suitcase and the boiler flame helped me a bit. Jason
The
says
pilot
violet,
way.
lol, autocorrect. Oh, the violet flame. Okay. The voil. So when it said boiler flame, the violet flame. Okay, thank you. All
I
right.
had
So I
now
want
that
go on.
so much stuff. I
Yeah.
told her, okay, put it all into a suitcase. Just
Mm-hmm.
pack it as much as you can, lock it,
Mm-hmm.
throw it into the
Yeah.
violet flame to transmute it all.
It's
She goes, oh,
transmute it.
that works.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to watching that class. So as part of the um spiritual awakening story, what I want to do is ask you what legacy you want to leave, but I'll just wrap up. So for those of you who don't know, again, you can find the spiritual awakening and your YouTube summit on my YouTube channel on the soullegacyacademy.com. There is all of the episodes will be in a playlist, so you will find on the channel the playlist. You'll find them on podcast platforms as well. And if you're not part of the community, please do come in and share your experience and invite others in who need to hear this message, because it's bigger than us. So, Casey, as we wrap up, what is the legacy that you believe that you're here to leave?
Changing the world one person at a time. If you can clear those blockages, if you can tap into your own truth, who you are, and go out and share all that with other people, then we're changing things. We're anchoring the light. We're changing things. It just one person at a time,
Person.
you know. And and
I love that.
and I've had people. I was thinking about getting involved in this one group, and all of a sudden, I'm having all these insecurities and stuff came up, and all of a
Wow.
sudden I had people popping up from even 5 years ago coming in and saying, you taught me techniques that have shifted my whole life. thank you. And it's
Oh.
like, the universe is supporting me in whatever I want to do. And there's some kind of shift coming in because I'm seeing 11, 11, 22,
Mm-hmm.
23, 33, 44, 44. And it's like, okay, I know you guys are telling me something's coming. I'm just open and receptive.
I love that. So even after all these years being on the spiritual path, that's the thing we learn. We know our signs. Sometimes there'll be new signs, but we know our familiar signs of, oh, let me get ready. Or when there's doubt or belief, disbelief is in, how we can support the collective, how we can add that light, not add that light, just add the light in the world, but just being who we are, right? And we do forget that that is our mission, that is our purpose, that is the legacy. So then why would we have like that fear or that doubt and those insecurities, which we all do? And as light workers, that's what I wanted to bring to the energy is, don't forget your truth. And your truth is to add to the transformation and the light in the world. And if you needed to hear that, then you've heard it from Tracy, one person at a time. When I first started my summit, it was called the Number One Divine Intervention Virtual Event. And I said, just one person at a time, just one person at a time, because then that is that energy and it passes and in ways that we just don't even know. So I would just want to say thank you, Jason, for the laughs and the amens. And DJ, hang on. The bubble technique combines with the suitcase and the violet flame. Love it. Thank you guys so much. It was really, really nice to have your energy with us. Casey, I really, really appreciate you being up at a ridiculous hour. I say ridiculous, but it's kind of like it's peaceful. I like being up like non-traditional work hours or work times and what have you. I tend to be woken up in the middle of the night with ideas and downloads. So I know it's not unusual for you, but I do really appreciate it. And I know that you're like, do you know what? I'm going to come up and I'm going to come in my jammies. So thank you so much. Guys, you are amazing, Casey. I love you. Thank you. Just that one person at a time. And this message hits just one more person. And we've got a lot of more people hopping on right now. Guys, we can continue on the conversation. Whatever you missed, there will be a replay on my YouTube channel and it will stay there. It's not locking it off. This energy is there, although it's a summit, it's there, and it's there for you guys to share out. It's there for you guys to watch again, to journal on, to take notes. I just really appreciate being in this space, being able to hold space for light to come into my world so that we can be a vessel and a vehicle for you. Hey Jack, how you doing? We are just about to hop off. We've been on almost an hour. I think that my phone is like I want to get off before we cut off. But thank you again, and I shall speak to you guys soon. Casey, thank you so much, and I shall speak to you soon. Is there something else that you want to say to your guys?
I want to remind everybody that when you ask the universe for something, only ask one time. And then
Right.
thanks for it as if you already have it. Because if you keep asking for it over and over again, you're
It's like you
not
don't.
showing trust that it's going to come in. If you
Yes.
ask for it one time and then give thanks for it, then you're showing faith and trust that it's coming.
That is so beautiful because if we believe like it's done, whatever it is, whatever area of your life,
Yeah.
we believe that it's done. Like I'm sitting here on this couch and like it sounds quite basic, but I'm sitting here on this couch. I'm not going to ask for another couch. I'm sitting on the couch. It's done. So if you wanted to know, do you know what I mean? Whatever experience, if you believe that it's done, you are not asking again. It's done. It's manifested, and you believe that it's in physical form, although your eyes can't see it. So it's done. I love that. Love and
Yeah.
light, Jason. Hey, Melissa, thank you so much for hopping on. You can watch the replay. Do join me. I have another 2 episodes for today at 3 p.m. UK time. That would be a ridiculous time for you, Jason, and 9 p.m. as well. I appreciate you all and the energy, and I love your community, Casey. I know that they just have that beautiful energy. The connections that you have is just absolutely, it really inspired me, and that's why I wanted to bring you on exactly for this, for that love, and that you do so many amazing things.
I have to
Pardon?
acknowledge people because they are
Yes.
so loving. I've been on there 7 years now, and I think we've only had a conflict 2 times in 7 years. And
Wow.
we've all handled it very well. Everybody's very loving and caring and honoring each other's differences. We're all meant to be
Yes.
different. We're all meant to
Yes.
have different experiences, but we're meant to honor those differences. Instead, we're
Yeah.
taught that things different is wrong. But I have to
Hmm.
acknowledge that people, they're so beautiful, they're so
Yes, they
loving,
are.
and it's
Yeah.
it's and I have to acknowledge that it's taken me a long time to get to that point. I still have stuff come up, of course,
Oh, yeah.
but they are a reflection of
Yeah.
what I'm doing at this point, you know?
100%. And I could see it. I could see it, and I was just like, I'm just blown away. It blows my mind because there are not that many spaces that are so open, and for you to be on from 2 hours to anywhere between 2 hours to 8 hours, depending on who's coming in and depending on what's flowing. And that's what I wanted to create. This space, it's beginning. This is the second week, and I run October through to April, and I will run. My business is scheduled out. This summit is scheduled out for the next 7 years. So you're here in the first season, and I am super excited to see where that
Yeah,
goes, and if I can have even just a glimmer of the kind of energy and relationship that you have at the Casey Spiritual Corner, I'll be really, really happy. So Jack says, "Do you want to read it? Can you see it? Do you want?
love
Do you
and
want to
light,
read what?"
namaste and bright blessings. Blessed be. It's 2 a.m. here. My bed is calling me.
Ah, thank you. And with that, that is a wrap, guys. I shall speak to you
Yes.
soon. Thank you again, Casey. Mwah. Speak to you soon.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you for
Bye,
having me.
everyone. Oh, you're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.